First race, claiming handicap pace of 1 mile, purse at $2,400. Exactas in tries. First half of the early daily double. A field of 9. Drivers change on the 1. RW is out of towner, Brett Miller. The 1 RW is out of towner, owned by Howard Jackson of DeGraff, Ohio, trained by Ed Bibler with Brett Miller. The 2 is Falkirk by Roy Swaney of Spring Valley, Ohio, trained by David Loff with Jeff Found at the lines. The 3 is Raven Underglass by Jeffrey Cornett of Lebanon, Ohio, who also does the training, and Bob Harper heads up. The 4 is LS Purse Snatcher by Ronald Ross of Staffordsville, Kentucky, trained by Jeff Brewer, Jason Brewer at the lines. The 5 is WR Little Big Man, owned by Eddie Blair of Paintsville, Kentucky, trained by Tommy Smith with Dean Collins. The 6 is Beach and Moan by Terry Whitaker and Robert Whitaker Jr. of Middletown, Ohio, trained by Robert Whitaker Jr. with Dan Noble. The 7 is Ty Rogers, owned and trained by John Perrin of Lebanon, Ohio, with Sam Chip Noble III. The 8 is Anxious Charlie by Brian Tatum of Mount Sterling, Ohio, trained by Karen Seifert, Dave Hawk. And for the outside of the 9 is Hawaiian Macho Man by Gregory Luther of Gahanna, Ohio, trained by John Robinson, Jim Daly in the sulky. In motion. They're off and pacing and firing away from the inside. There goes Falkirk. From the outside, there is Hawaiian Macho Man. Also driving out for the lead, there is Ty Rogers in between horses. Coming away in 4th, that is LS Purse Snatcher. Away in 5 is WR Little Big Man. 6th on the inside, that is Raven Underglass. There along the inside in 7th, that is Anxious Charlie. As they race around the first turn and over to the opening quarter. Back down pacing in 8th, there is RW is out of towner in 9th, and trailing the field, that is Beach and Moan. As they step towards the opening quarter in 28 seconds flat, and on top of the field, Falkirk leads the way here by length and a quarter. Along the inside, Ty Rogers has found the garden spot, racing in 2. Hawaiian Macho Man looks like he'll take the long mile, the outside in 3rd. LS Purse Snatcher to the inside is racing in 4th. 5th there along the inside is WR Little Big Man, a gap of 3.5 there. Racing in 6th, that is Raven Underglass. 7th is Anxious Charlie. 8th is RW is out of towner, and 9th and trailing the field, Beach and Moan. As they step towards the half, and Falkirk led them to the half. They're halfway home, 57 3/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 with Falkirk and Fout leading the way here by length and a half. Along the inside, Ty Rogers is going along in 2. Hawaiian Macho Man can't go on from 3rd and swung up 3 deep on the outside. Here comes the 5 WR Little Big Man, and WR Little Big Man forges to the frontier as they go to 3/4, and WR Little Big Man onto the front interior and opens up by 2. 3/4 and 127 and 1/5. Backside 29 and 3. WR Little Big Man with the lead here. Up on the outside, Hawaiian Macho Man is still there in 2nd. LS Purse Snatcher has swung up 3 wide for the stretch drive as they turn to the top of Heartbreak Lane. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come with the lead, WR Little Big Man. Middle of the track, Hawaiian Macho Man still there, still coming to him along with LS Purse Snatcher. But as they roll within the final 16th, WR Little Big Man in front. Very close for 2nd there between the 4 LS Purse Snatcher and the 9 Hawaiian Macho Man. Down of the mile, 157 2/5. WR Little Big Man. The winner's circle to be greeted by Chrissy Found is shown due throughout the evening. Here's the unofficial winner of the first race. First half of the early daily double, the 5 WR Little Big Man. A 7-year-old bake outing by Storm and Jesse out of a Barbie doll Hanover. She by Albatross. Sold by Eddie Blair of Paintsville, Kentucky. Trained by Tommy Smith. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Dean Collins. Posting the 4th win in 2003. Home winner in 157 and 2, the 5 WR Little Big Man and Dean Collins. It's official. 5491 is now official. 5-4 exacta 92.80, 5-4-9 try 416.40. Colt Trot, Ohio Sire Stakes. 4th leg, a trot of 1 mile, a purse of $20,000. Exactas and tries, a field of 9. Drivers change on the 2, Taddy Be Gone, Brett Miller. The 1 is Perfect Gary by the Arden Homestead Stable of Delhi, New York. Trained by Tim Rucker with Debbie Rucker at the lines. The 2 is Taddy Be Gone, owned by Stack, Fagan, Brooks, and Frolic. They're all of the Buckeye State. Trained by Ron Stack with Brett Miller. The 3 is Full Count by the Polachina Motors Incorporated, Minute and Acadia Farms Incorporated, all of the Buckeye State, trained by Marty Willem, Don McCurgan. The 4 is Forever Over by Patterson of Galloway, Ohio, and Patterson of Cambridge, Ohio, trained by Ron Newhart with Dave Myers. Number 5 is Nakuda Jude by Ronald Broombaugh and Kirby Sutton of Arcanum, Ohio, trained by Dave Broombaugh with Chip Noble III. Number 6 is Striking Lyric by Slaughter, Prospect, Kentucky, and Wayne Zollers of Mount Vernon, Ohio, trained and driven by Tom Davis. Number 7 is He's a Wild Card by Chris Jr. of North Benton, Ohio, and Herschel of Salem, Ohio, trained by James Chris Jr. with Bob Lippiett. The 8 is Confederate Officer by Robert Key of Leechburg, Pennsylvania, trained by Jim Artledge Jr., Dave Hawk aboard. And from the outside of the 9 is Rose Run Fiore by Susan Bates of Gibbonsburg, Ohio, trained and driven by Tyler Bates and the Sulky. That's the field for the second race, the first division, 2-year-old Colt Trotters Ohio Sire Stakes. Field in motion. They're off and trotting, break the 7. He's a wild card before the start and flashing some early speed. There goes the 3 full count from the outside. Rose Run Ferrari is on the go there in between horses. That is Striking Lyric. Coming away, trotting in 4th. That is Perfect Gary. Away in 5. That is Forever Over. Got to the outside of there in 6th as Confederate Officer drops in there. 7th along the rail. That is Teddy Be Gone. 8th on the inside is Not Cut a Jude. And 9th and trailing the field after the early miscue. That's He's a Wild Card. As they trot by the opening quarter came and went in 28 2/5, and they'll trot by the stand for the first time and head on down to the half with full count leading the way here along the outside, and now dropping in, racing into is Striking Lyric as the 1 Perfect Gary went off stride there, rolling under the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining. Now trotting in 3rd, Rose Run Ferrari. To the inside in 4th, that is Forever Over. Inside trotting in 5 there is Confederate Officer. 6th along the inside is Teddy Be Gone. 7th in a swung to the outside is Nakata Jude. 8th there is He's a Wild Card in 9th, and trailing the field back down, trotting Perfect Gary as they reach the half. They're halfway home in 59 seconds flat. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 for the first division of the 4th leg of 2-year-old Colt Trotters Ohio Sire Stakes. And on top, full count leads the way here for Don McCurgan. To the inside, Striking Lyric is trotting in 3rd, or 2nd rather. First over the outside in 3rd is Forever Over, and swung up 3 wide to the outside. Here comes Nakata Jude as they wheel towards the 3/4 mile mark of the race in full count, with the lead here reporting to 3/4 in 1:29 3/5. They'll trot the final turn and head for home. And your 3 to 5 punter's choice, full count with the lead here by 2 1/4. Nakata Jude is first over the rim, racing in 2. Along the inside, Striking Lyric trots in 3rd. Off the turn to the top of Power Alley, less than 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come, and full count is opening up and drawing away. He's very impressive. Once again, the 2-year-old son of Striking Sabra, full count, is going to win this by 4.5. Full count in front. Nakata Jude to go 2nd. Striking Lyric was 3rd at the top of the mile. 2 minutes, 1/5. Full count. Returning treks out of the winner's circle, the official winner of the second race, the first division, 2-year-old Colt Trot Ohio Sire Stakes, 4th leg. Purse of $20,000. Here's the 3 full count. A 2-year-old Bay Colt by Striking Sabra out of a Sybil score. She by Final Score by the Polachina Motors Incorporated, Minute, and the Acadia Farms Incorporated. They're all of Ohio. Trained by Marty Willem. Nicely handled cheer this evening by winning driver Don McCurgan. A very nice colt indeed. Posting the 3rd win of his career in just 5 starts. He's yet to miss the board. The 3 full count, and Don McCurgan, 2 minutes, 1/5. At 8:09, 10 minutes away. Field is 6 to go postward. The 1 is Dream Forever by Anderson, Cooper, and Mogan. They're all of the Buckeye State, trained by Scott Mogan with Sam Chipnoble III. Number 2 is Western Romeo. My Budweiser Best Bet of the Night is owned by the FTF Incorporated at Johnstown, Ohio. Trained by Red Hot, Ron Potter, Dan Noble with the lines. The 3 is Canadu Sam with the Sterling Brook Farms Incorporated at Sheltonville, Massachusetts. Trained by Jim Artledge Jr., Bob Harper. The 4 is Chump Secret by Regal, Rudnick, and Broombaugh. The Greenville, Ohio. Trained by Alan Regal, Jeff Fout. The 5A, Raphael, is out sick. The 6 is Go-Kart Mozart by Michael Brown at Cecil, Ohio. Trained by Ralph Roughton with Dave Hawk. And the 7 is Bally High, owned by Jacobson of Compound, New York, and Korn of Monmouth Beach, New Jersey, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Brett Miller, and the Sulky. That's the field for the 3rd race. Trimble, Julian and Grube Incorporated. Field in motion. Break the four, Chop Secret before the start. They're off and pacing and firing away from the outside. There goes Go-Kart Mozart, who's on the go there. Along the inside, Dream Forever has come away racing in two as they race around the first turn and over to the opening quarter. Way in third, that is Western Romeo. Fourth, there is Canadu Sam. Fifth on the inside is Valley High, and sixth in trailing the field. Back down pacing, but well off here, Chop Secret. As they race around the first turn and over to the opening quarter, and Go-Kart Mozart and Dave Hawk on the front end here took them to the opening quarter in 29 and 2/5. Along the inside, Dream Forever is going along in two. Even money favorite Western Romeo is racing in third. Canadu Sam is racing fourth. Fifth, that is Valley High, and sixth in trailing the field way back there. That is Chop Secret as they roll into the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining, and on top of the field, Go-Kart Mozart leads them into the clubhouse turn and on over to the half. Along the inside, Dream Forever is stalking in two. Western Romeo is yet to be moved in third. Fourth along the inside is Canadu Sam. Fifth is Valley High, and sixth in trailing the field, Chop Secret. They reach the half. They're halfway home in 1 minute and 1/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards three quarters, and Go-Kart Mozart has got a recall thus far. Leads it by a length and a half. Along the inside, Dream Forever is racing into, and now first to flush, coming with a rush to the outside. Here comes Western Romeo. Along the inside in fourth is Canadu Sam. Fifth there is Valley High, and way back and trailing the field in sixth is Chop Secret as they race towards the three-quarter mile mark of the race. 3/4 on the board in 1:29 and 3/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and Go-Kart Mozart to the inside. But Western Romeo is right there at his neck racing in two. Along the inside, Dream Forever is going along nicely in third as they turn to the top of Power Alley. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. To the inside, Go-Kart Mozart with the lead. Western Romeo still there, still coming to him. Dream Forever is there as well, but as they come to the wire, it's Go-Kart Mozart. Gate to wire. Western Romeo to go second. Dream Forever was third to the top of the mile. 1:57, 2/5. Go-Kart Mozart in a new lifetime mark. The Raceway Park Invader here scores in 1:57 and 2 to establish a new lifetime mark. Gate to wire. Here's the 6, Go-Kart Mozart. 2-year-old bay getting by Stand Forever out of a Barbie Ferrari. She by Center Traction by Michael Brown of Cecil, Ohio. Trained by Ralph Roughton. Nicely handled shield this evening by winning driver Dave Hawk. The 6, Go-Kart Mozart. Fourth win in just 5 starts. 1:57 and 2. New lifetime mark. The 1 is Lower Bob by Walters of Newark, Ohio, and Norman of Zanesville, Ohio, trained and driven by Dave Myers. Number 2 is VW Bug by Vukovic Jr. of Grove City, Ohio, and Willem of Vienna, Ohio, trained by Marty Willem. Don McCurgan will drive. The 3 is Brittany Lee, owned and trained and driven by Roger Plummer of Wilmington, Ohio. Number 4 is Bellanote by Merle Mullet of Berlin, Ohio, and Rosalind Mullet of Millersburg, Ohio, trained by Charlie Beaver with Bob Harper. The 5 is Michigan Dan by Winchester Bay Incorporated of Palo, Ohio, trained by Daryl Hoosier with a K-Man, Kane Kaufman. The 6 is ATT Princess by Catherine Hawk of Orient, Ohio, trained by Lloyd Hawk. Dave Hawk is up. The 7 is He's Easy by Slaughter, Davis, Spearman, and Davis. They're of Kentucky, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, trained and driven by Tom Davis. Lead is Garcia Parra by Martin Lavelle of Hilliard, Ohio, trained by Mr. Todd Christie. Jump out is up, and over the outside of the 9 is Our Cowboy by Titus Schlebaugh of Sugar Creek, Ohio, trained by Robert Schlebaugh with Brett Miller in the sulky. That's the field for the 4th race. Condition trotters, exact as in tries. Early pick 3. Field in motion. They're off and trotting in a very nice start here and flashing some early speed in between horses. There goes Bellanote driving up. That's Michigan Dan. From the rail there is Lower Bob dropping in, racing in 4th. Forwardly placed there is ATT Princess. Away in 5 is Our Cowboy. 6th that is VW Bug dropping in, and off stride in 7th is Brittany Lee. Around that one there in 8th that is Garcia Parra. And 9th and trailing the field way back there in off stride is He's Easy. As they trot towards the opening quarter on top of the field, leading the way here, that is Michigan Michigan Dan or Bellanote through an opening quarter in 28 seconds flat. Michigan Dan is trotting in second. Lord Bob trots in third. Fourth there, that is ATT Princess. As they roll by the stand for the first time and head on down to the half. Fifth on the inside, VW Bug. Sixth is Garcia Para. Seventh there on the outside after the break there is our Cowboy. Eighth is Brittany Lee, and ninth and trailing the field, He's Easy. As they trot around the clubhouse turn and on over to the half. On top of the field, Bellanote leads the way here for Bob Harper by length and a quarter. To the inside, Michigan Dan is stalking at the garden spot, racing in two. Lord Bob still trots in third. Fourth there is ATT Princess. Off stride went the two, VW Bug. They went by the half. They're halfway home in 58 and 2/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards three quarters with Bellanote showing the way here. Michigan Dan is nose to helmet racing in two. Lord Bob awaits in third. First to flush on the outside there in fourth. That is ATT Princess. Fifth and second over is Garcia Para. Sixth and back down trotting is VW Bug, and you can forget about the rest as they roll by three quarters in 129 and 3/5. They'll trot the final turn and head for home, and Bellanote with the lead here. ATT Princess is now applying heavy pressure to the outside in two, and Michigan Dan awaits the passing lane to the inside, trotting in third as they turn to the top of Power Alley. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Bellanote with the lead here to the outside. ATT Princess and Michigan Dan is charging high to the passing lane as they come to the wire. Bellanote, Michigan Dan, Bellanote in front. Michigan Dan to go second. Third was the 6 ATT Princess. The time of the mile 1:59 flat. Bellanote in a new lifetime mark. Photo for a win. Timed in 1:59 flat to establish a new lifetime mark. Third win in 2003. Here's the 4 Bellanote. A 3-year-old daughter of Conway Hall out of a Tuscany Dream Mare. She by Victory Dream. By Merle Mullet to Berlin, Ohio, and Rosalind Mullet to Millersburg, Ohio. Trained by Charles Beaver. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Bob Harper. The 4 Bellanote. Gate to wire. New lifetime mark 1:59 flat. One official, 4-5 exact at $12 even, 4-5-6 tries, 62, 6-8, 1-2-3, 9-5, 7 on the bottom. Well, the upcoming fifth race, exact trifecta wagering. This is the second division of 2-year-old Colt Trotters, Ohio Sire Stakes, fourth leg. Exactas and tries, a field of 10, no changes. Post time, 8:48. The second division of the 2-year-old Colt Trot, Ohio Sire Stakes, fourth leg. Trot a 1 mile, a purse of $20,000. Exactas and tries, a field of 10, no changes. Kathy Hawk brings them out. The one is Scorpions Louis G. with a Whippoorwill stable of Akron, Ohio, trained and driven by Bill Irvine. Number 2 is Scorpion Moon by Dennis and Gary Lee Miller, Thornville, Ohio, trained by Ryan Householder with Jeff Fount. Number 3 is Grand Watch Him Go by Jerry Grant of Pleasant Plain, Ohio, trained by Jerry Grant with Danny Noble. The 4 is Tally Ho Crown, owned and trained by Donald Fisher of Fort Wayne, Indiana, with Russell Swartz up. The 5 is Mighty Double D by Dean Davis of Wooster, Ohio, trained and driven by Kurt Sugg. The 6 is Rose Run Flash by Dave Rankin of Columbus, Ohio, and John Melsheimer of Zanesville, Ohio, trained and driven by Dave Rankin. The 7 is That's George by William and Barbara Paul of Powell, Ohio, trained and driven by Jim Daly. The 8 is Strikingly Red by the Broken Brokers Limited of Findlay, Ohio, trained by Ty Bates with Dave Hawk. From the outside of the 9 is Speedy Iliad, just stepping out of the paddock there. Owned by Wayne Braden of Hiram, Ohio, trained by Wayne Braden with Don McCurgan. That's scoring from off the second tier is number 10, Woody Woodrow by Eric Nesselrode of Stockport, Ohio, and Gene Turner of Vienna, Virginia, West Virginia, trained by Eric Nesselrode with Bob Harper in the sulky. That's the field for the fifth race, the second division. Getting set for a start. Field in motion. Break the 8, Strikingly Red before the start. They're all fan trotting and firing away from the outside. There goes Tally Ho Crown. In between horses, that is Grand Watch Him Go. From the inside, Scorpion Moon looking to drop in. Racing in fourth is Mighty Double D. Inside, trotting in 5 and there. That is Scorpion's Louis G. Racing in 6th and caught to the outside is Rose Run Flash. 7th along the rail from off the 2nd tier. That is Woody Woodrow. A gap of 3 lengths there. Racing in 8th. That is That's George. 9th along the inside. That is Strikingly Red. And 10th and trailing the field after the miscue there. Speedy Elliott is still in a break. As they went by the opening quarter in 28 and 2/5, they'll pass the stand for the first time and head on down to the half and Tally-Ho Crown in Russ Swartz with the lead here by length and 3/4. Scorpion Moon is trotting in the garden spot, racing in 2, ranging up uncovered on the outside, trotting in 3rd. That is Mighty Double D along the inside in 4th. That is Grand Watch Him Go. 2nd over the outside, racing in 5. That is Rose Run Flash. Buried on the inside, racing in 6, Scorpion's Louis G, who now swung to the outside. As they reach the half, they're halfway home in 58 and 2/5. A second pintle with 30 seconds flat. Off the turn and driving down the backside of the 2nd division for 2-year-old Colt Trotters Ohio Sire Stakes, 4th leg. And on top here, that's Tally-Ho Crown with the lead. Now ranging up right alongside of the leader in 2, that is Mighty Double D. Up on the outside, 2nd over there in 3rd, that is Rose Run Flash. And can't go on from 4th, that is Scorpion Moon, who's trapped in Grand Watch Him Go, who is buried to the rail in 5. Up on the outside, Scorpion Louis G. As they approach 3/4 in 129 and 1/5, and off stride goes Tally-Ho Crown. They'll drop the final turn and head for home. And on top of the field, Mighty Double D with the lead here, but the 4-5 punter's choice. Rose Run Flash is bearing down on the outside in 2 and ready to swing up 3 wide for the stretch drive. Woody Woodrow off the turn to the top of Power Alley. Less than an eighth of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. Rose Run Flash strikes the front interior, but Woody Woodrow is coming to him and coming on as they come within the final 16th. Rose Run Flash in front. Finishing 2nd to 10, Woody Woodrow. 3rd to the 5, Mighty Double D. Down the mile, 2 minutes and 3/5. Rose Run Flash takes the 2nd division of Ohio Sire Stakes, 4th leg for 2-year-old Colt Trotters in a new lifetime mark. Trackside of the winner's circle, the official winner of the 5th race, 2nd division, 2-year-old Colt Trot, Ohio Sire Stakes, 4th leg. 2 minutes and 3/5 to establish a new lifetime mark. Here's the 6, Rose Run Flash. A 2-year-old bake outing by Umbro Laser out of a Liliad. She by Umbro Iliad by Rankin of Columbus, Ohio, and Melsheimer, Zanesville, Ohio. Nicely trained and driven by Dave Rankin. The 6, Rose Run Flash, posts the 5th win of his career. New lifetime mark, 2 minutes, 3/5. Rose Run Flash.
Six in this race, number 6, Smart Sam. The driver is Jim Daly. There is exacta and trifecta wagering here in the 6th. Here are your horses for race 6 in the post parade. Number 1 is He's a Doozy, home of the FTF stable and driven by Dan Noble. Number 2 is Fritzy.com, owned by Fritz and McEnry and driven by Jeff Fout. Number 3 is MJ Lindy, owned by Eleanor Collier with Dave Hawk. Number 4 is The Right Place K, owned by Bob Key with Bob Hopper. Number 5 is Magic Sparrow, owned by Allman, Arthur, and Kirk with Brett Miller. Number 6 is Smart Sam, owned by Mondillo and Robinson, a driver change to Jim Daly. Number 7 is Anita Crombie, on the lease to Thomas Blankenship with Dean Collins. Number 8 is Pagan Pete, on by Terry Garrett with Kane Kaufman. And completing the 9-horse field is 3 Gs, on by Clarence Gillum, Adam Rucker in the sulky. Those are the horses for your 6th race. You have 6 minutes to post. Full field of 9 for race 6 lined up. Here they come. They're off and pacing. On the inside, it is He's a Doozy going out for that early lead. Right alongside comes Fritzy.com second. And on the far outside, now rushing up towards the front, it is Magic Sparrow. Then there's a gap of 3 lanes back to the right place. K coming away racing fourth with MJ Lindy fifth. Another 2 lanes back to Smart Sam racing in sixth. And it's 3G's who's seventh. 2 lanes back to Anita Crombie eighth. And Pagan Pete is the trailer ninth. They go by the first quarter in a blistering 28 seconds even. As they come by the stands the first time, it is Magic Sparrow and Brett Miller on the lead as the 6-5 favorite has it by 2 1/4 lanes. He's a Doozy is racing second by another 2 1/2 lanes. Fritzy.com is third, followed by the right place fourth. Then farther back in fifth comes MJ Lindy as they move around the clubhouse turn and approach the half. And it is Magic Sparrow on top by a little more than a length. He's a Doozy is racing second, farther back Fritzy.com third as they go by the half mile in 57-2 as they make their way into the back stretch. And it's still Magic Sparrow, your leader by a little more than a length. He's a Doozy in the pocket spot second. The right place K is now moving up on the outside third. Fritzy.com down at the pylons fourth. Now getting underway from the outside, it's Smart Sam to be fifth. MJ Lindy down at the pylon six. Another 4 lanes back to 3G7. Then it's Anita Crombie and Pagan Pete heading past the 3/4. 1:26-2. 29 flat for the third quarter as the field approaches the top of the stretch. And Brett Miller and the favorite Magic Sparrow has been there every step of the way as they turn for home here. And it's all Magic Sparrow now pulling away by 4 over He's a Doozy. On the outside, the right place K. Passing lane for Fritz.com, but was Magic Sparrow the best? He wires the field in the winning time, 1:55 flat. The right place K was up for second. It's number 5, Magic Sparrow. He's a 4-year-old son of Cam's Magic Trick out of the Sparrow by Kentucky Spur, owned by Allman, MacArthur, and Kirk, trained by Ken Kirk, and driven a victory here tonight in a new lifetime mark when official by winning driver Brett Miller. Results are now official. The winning exacta combination of 5 and 4 pays $25. Exacta 25 even. Pick 3, 4, 6, and 5, $78.60. Pick 3, 78.60. The winning triple, 5, 4, and 1, $77.60.
Horses are on the track and pray to the post for the 7th race, the 4th leg of Ohio Sire Stakes, the 3rd division for 2-year-old colt trotters here this evening. Trot of 1 mile, a purse of $20,000. Field of 9, drivers change on the 4, guys call free, Jim Joyner. Exacta trifecta late, pick 3 wagering begins here. The 1 is Little Stinger by Wyandotte Golf Course and Ronald Fuller of Ohio, trained and driven by Ty Van Roden. The 2 is Distrike by Shirley Duvall of Aurora, Ohio, trained and driven by Don McCurgan. The 3 is Call Over Free by Moore, Easterday, and Reed, all of the Buckeye State, trained and driven by Steve Carter. The 4 is Guys Call Free by Ronald Dale and Linda Randall of Berlin Center, Ohio, trained by Ron Randall with Jim Joyner. The 5 is S.A. Blue Jacket, owned by Schneider, Baldacchino, and Green Racing Incorporated of Ohio, New Jersey, and Delaware, trained by Gary Green, Jeff Fout. The 6 is What Club Should I Hit by Parkview Stables of Pittsburgh, Ohio, trained by Dave Broombaugh with Sam Chipnoble III. Number 7 is Luck of the Stars by Patricia Adams in North Canton, Ohio, trained by Marty Willem with Dave Hawk. The 8 is Put Me on Cruise by Jonas Schlebank of Apple Creek, Ohio, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr. with Brett Miller. And for the outside of the 9 is Don's Messenger, belonged and trained by Donald Fisher of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Russell Swartz in the sulky. That is the field for the 7th race, the 3rd division, the 2-year-old colt trot, Ohio Sire. They're in the hands of the starter, Andy Albert. Field in motion. Being sent on their way. They're off and trotting and firing away from the inside. There goes Little Stinger driving up from the outside. There's Luck of the Stars. Furthermore out, that is Don's Messenger who's on the go. Middle of the track coming away in 4th. That is S.A. Blue Jacket up on the outside of there in 5. That is What Club Should I Hit? 6th on the inside. That is Disc Strike. 7th away there is Call Over Free. 8th along the inside is Put Me On Cruise. And 9th and trailing the field, that is Guys Call Free. As they trot around the first turn and over to the opening quarter and off stride, What Club Should I Hit? As well as the 7-horse Luck of the Stars. As they trot by the opening quarter came and went in 28 and 3/5. And Little Stinger with the lead, but now brushing up on the outside. Here's S.A. Blue Jacket, and S.A. Blue Jacket is rushing up to the front end tier as they roll under the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining, in S.A. Blue Jacket onto the front end tier, and as they step around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half, S.A. Blue Jacket with the lead tier by length and a half. On the inside, and Little Stinger is trotting in second. On the inside, trotting in third is Don's Messenger. A gap of 2 and 4th is Disc Strike. 5th there along the inside is Put Me On Cruise. As they reach the half, they're halfway home in 58 and 4/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside, and on top, S.A. Blue Jacket and Fout leads it here by length and 3/4. Along the inside, Little Stinger is tracking him for the garden spot, racing in 2. Don's Messenger along the inside, now coming to the outside, trotting in 3rd there, who is towing along Disc Strike. 2nd over the outside in 4th. 5th there is Put Me On Cruise as they race towards the 3/4 mile mark of the race. And on top of the field, S.A. Blue Jacket, and S.A. Blue Jacket reports the 3/4 in 1:29 and 4/5. They'll drop the final turn and head for home, and S.A. Blue Jacket with the lead here up on the inside. And Little Stinger is trotting in 2. On the inside, Disc Strike trots him 3rd as they turn to the top of Power Alley. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come, driving through Heartbreak Lane, and it's all S.A. Blue Jacket. He's opening up and drawing away with every single stride. Coming to the wire, it's all S.A. Blue Jacket in front. Finishing second of the mile, the 2, Disc Strike. 3rd was the 1, Little Stinger. The time of the mile, 1:59 4/5. S.A. Blue Jacket in a new lifetime mark. In 2-year-old Colt Trot, Ohio Sire Stakes, 4th leg, timed at 1:59 and 4/5. The 5, S.A. Blue Jacket. Timed at a new lifetime mark, 4th win of his career. A 2-year-old bait gelding by Overcomer, and a Blue Topaz. She by Coleman LaBelle. Owned by Snyder Baldacchino and Green Racing Incorporated of Ohio, New Jersey, and Delaware. Trained by Gary Green. Nicely handled by Jeff Fount. Broken equipment and all. The 5, S.A. Blue Jacket, scores in 1:59 and 4 to establish a new lifetime mark. The hands of Jeff Fount. A field of 7 to go postward here. First half of the late daily double exact is in tries. Number 1, Noble Flora, owned trained by Arthur McCrae of Waverly, Ohio, with Adam Rucker. Number 2 is Whiskey Blue, owned by John Fike of New Albany, Ohio, trained and driven by the K-Man, Kane Kaufman. Number 3, Thus Connection is out sick. Number 4 is Runaway Lawyer by Mark Clark of Springfield, Ohio, trained by David Perry with Daniel Noble. The 5 is KF Pros Finale by Henry You Can Call Me Hank Kaufman of Baltimore, Ohio, trained by Mike Metters, Brett Miller. The 6 is Skylight, owned by Dennis Putnam of Van Wert, Ohio, trained by Dennis Putnam. Hey, Dennis Miller. The 7 is Poco Curante, owned by Carol Gamble of Bradford, Ohio, trained by Steve Livingston with Jeff Fount. And for the outside of the 8 is Sassy Gwen by Earl Standard of Delaware, Ohio, trained by Russ Baldwin. Dave Hawk is in her sulky. That's the field for the 8th race. Fillies and Mares, condition claiming field in motion. They're off fan pacing and firing away for the lead. There goes the 4 running away Lawyer. From the outside there is Poco Curante, who's driving out and crossing over to take the lead here. Got up on the outside, racing in third. That is Sassy Gwen. Away in fourth is Whiskey Blue. 5 on the inside is KF Pro's Finale. 6th there along the rail is Noble Flora. 7th and trailing the field is Skylight. And Dallas can see them all as they step around the first turn and over to the opening quarter. And off stride there, rough gated and back down pacing now. That is Sassy Gwen as they step towards the opening quarter. The opening quarter in 28 3/5 as they scamper on by the stand for the first time and head on down to the half. And Poco Curante now being joined on the outside by KF Pro's Finale. And Brett Miller is sending this one up on the outside to take the lead, rolling into the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining in KF Pro's Finale. Onto the front end tier, Poco Curante will yield for a garden spot, tracking in 2 along the inside. Racing in third is Runaway Hoyer. Whiskey Blue is flush first over the outside, racing in fourth. It was towing along Noble Flora, second over the outside in 5. That is Skylight in 6th and 7th, and trailing the field is Sassy Gwen. They went the half in 58 1/5. A second panel at 29 3. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Fillies and Mares heads are pointed towards 3/4 and on top. KF Pro's Finale with the lead here along the inside. Poco Curante is going along in 2. First over the outside, racing in third. That is Whiskey Blue. Swung up 3 wide of the outside there. That is Noble Flora as they race towards 3/4 in KF Pro's Finale with the lead here. Into the inside, Poco Curante is racing in 2. 3/4 and 128 flat. Whiskey Blue could not go on from third and now swung up 3 wide of the outside. Here comes Skylight, and Dallas Miller is circling up on the outside as they turn to the top of Power Alley. Less than 1/8 of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. KF Pro's Finale, but Skylight blows right on by. Skylight, very impressive here within the final 16th. Skylight is going on to win. Skylight in front. KF Pro's Finale to go second. Runaway Hoyer was third. Down to the mile, 157 3/5. Across the wire, purple and white. 1, 2, 3. Skylight. And a new return to the winner's circle. The unofficial winner of the 8th race. Fillies and Mares, condition Climbing Pays. First half of the late Daily Devil. Here's the 6th, Skylight. Home and a new lifetime mark, 157 3. First win here in 2003. 5-year-old Baymare by Nuke Skywalker out of a Dr. Breath. She by Umbro Omaha. Owned and trained by Dennis Putnam of Van Wert, Ohio. Sleigh handled here this evening by winning driver Dallas Miller. The 6th, Skylight, in a new lifetime mark, 157 3/5. A field of 9 going postward, being led to the post parade by Kathy Hawk. The 1 is Joe P. Cadet. The lessee is also the trainer William Dorn of Worthington, Ohio, with Sam Chipnoble III. Number 2 is Governor Hooney by K. Rosh at Kenton, Ohio, trained by Ed Bibler with Dallas Miller. The 3 is Dockin. The lessee is also the trainer Robert Rhodes, Bob Harper. The 4 is Irish Renegade, owned and trained by John Perrin of Lebanon, Ohio, with Dan Noble. The 5 is Smooth Scooter by John Hershke of Cleveland, Ohio, trained by Lee Dayerman III, David Bartlett. The 6 is Adam Quinton, owned by David Ehrenberg II of Westerville, Ohio, trained by Jim Pollock Jr. with Kane Kaufman. Number 7 is Native Song by Edwin Ellis of Cedarville, Ohio, trained by Lamar Moody with Dave Hawk. The 8 is Diamond Deribo by Melby Ober, senior of Cable, Ohio, trained by Jeff Brewer, Jason Brewer. Scratch the 9, Wild Red Reed sick, and the 10 from off the second tier, Noble Grinder by Kathy Collins Taylor and Michael Taylor of Columbus, Ohio, trained and driven by Dean Collins in the sulky. Field in motion. They're off fan pacing and firing away. Middle of the track, there goes the 3, Dockin. From the outside, there is Adam Quinton, who's on the go, along with Native Song. Driving up to be 4th, there is Governor Hooney. Away in 5 from off the rails, Joe P. Cadet. Driving through from off the second tier to be 6th is Noble Grinder. 7th there and being taken back, that is Irish Renegade. And the 2 trailers here are Smooth Scooter and Diamond Aribo. Can see them all. as they step around the first turn and over to the opening quarter and on top. Dockin with the lead here, about to be joined to the outside by Native Song. Opening quarter came and went in 28 4/5 as they pass in front of the stand for the first time and head on down to the half. And on top from the outside, Native Song now clears to the front end here. Dockin yields for a garden spot, racing in two as they roll into the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining. And Adam Quinton is racing in third, unhurried in fourth. That is Governor Hooney. First to flush on the outside in five is Joe P. Cadet, and he's fishing for some cover there. Second over the outside, racing in sixth. That is race favorite Noble Grinder. Inside racing in seventh, and a ground-saving journey there is Irish Renegade. Eighth along the outside there is Diamond Rebo, and ninth and trailing the field. That is a race by the half Smooth Scooter. They were halfway home in 59 seconds flat and off the turn and driving down the backside, and Dockin made a break out of the two hole and on down with the field. Native Song and Dave Hawk leads it here by length and a quarter. Now up on the outside, here comes Adam Quinton, and the K-Man has pulled this one out of the garden spot and is looking the leader of the eye and trying to go right on by here. Joe P. Cadet is second over the outside in third. Third over the outside there in fourth within striking distance. That is Noble Grinder by 3/4 and 129 flat. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and on top from the inside, battling back, Native Song on the outside. Adam Quinton swung up 3 wide, Joe P. Cadet, and now swung up 4 wide to the outside. Noble Grinder, and about to be fanned 5 wide is Diamond Arribo to the top of Power Alley. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Joe P. Cadet now to the front end, but on the outside, Noble Grinder, and Noble Grinder gets up to win it. Noble Grinder in front. Joe P. Cadet to go second. Third was Diamond Arribo. Fourth the 4, Irish Renegade, the top of the mile. 1:59 2/5. Noble Grinder. Again, that 2:184 Super, 2:09.80. Trackside of the winner's circle, the official winner of the 9th and final race, the 10 Noble Grinder. 5-year-old bait gelding by Noble and Sam out of a pavement grinder. She by Tyler B. by Kathy Collins Taylor and Michael Taylor of Columbus, Ohio. Trained and driven by Dean Collins. First win in 2003 for the 10 Noble Grinder, 1:59 2/5. Your official winner.